Hello everyone. In the last episode, I mentioned about the need to become transnational, the need to become international. As I said, the competition is becoming world class. There was a time when a company could afford to remain national. You can sell your product in one country. Take the example of India and China. Now India offers the biggest market, China offers even bigger market. You can manufacture anything and sell to your country. But over a period of time, we realized that becoming a national company is not going to get you long-term results. So Japan showed this way back in 1960s that the Japanese products had to be acceptable worldwide. The moment Japan became a world-class country, others started thinking about it. So there is a need to become world-class. Now the world-class organization is a result of world-class product. The world-class product is a result of world-class human resources. The world-class human resource is a result of world-class knowledge in terms of technology and world-class skill in terms of how you deploy the technology in the workplace. So the whole thing is interrelated. I read somewhere that success is a result of practice plus discipline. Success is a result of practice plus discipline. If you recall the chart I discussed in episode 9, if you want to enhance your personal productivity, you need to understand the mind and the brain interlinkage, the interface between the mind and the brain. While brain is identical, mind is different. Skill has to combine the power of the mind and the power of the brain. Discipline, for example, you need to put in a minimum number of hours to go through the 4 stages. You remember yesterday I was talking to you about, in the previous episode I was talking to you about the 4 stages of skill development: recall, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and unconscious competence. I was reading somewhere, there used to be a senator, US senator by name Bill Bradley. It seems that he will have a basketball court in his house. He will try to net the ball into the basket from 25 different places. Out of 25 attempts, he should net the ball at least 22 times consecutively. If he doesn't, he will go back to attempt number 1 and then do it again. Until and unless he does it, he will not leave for the office. Now that is the type of mental discipline. I was talking to some of the world-class coaches, cricket coaches, chess coaches, and they said the discipline, the work discipline, the mental and physical discipline these players bring to them is amazing. Whether it is sun or rain, or shine or rain, it is the same for them. There is no difference between a Monday and a Sunday for them. Right? That is the type of effort they have to put in. I want to recall to your mind one more chart. The chart is, we talked about a process which results in an outcome. We talked about a knowledge and skill, right? So if you have to develop a superior product or outcome, you need to change your process, right? If you want to change your process, you need to have a different type of knowledge and skill. So the question is, how do you develop world-class skill? I was interested in knowing this, and I came across the work of Dr. Anders Ericsson, who researched on this and published a paper called The Role of Deliberate Practice in the Acquisition of Expert Performance. I repeat, the role of deliberate practice in the acquisition of expert performance. He studied the life of world-class pianists, world-class violinists, world-class singers, world-class players, and he came with a breakthrough common denominator in these people. He said world-class expertise performance is a result of 10 years of work. In that 10 years, 10,000 hours of work. So there are two units he's talking about. 10 years of constant practice, continuous practice. In that unit of 10 years, 10,000 hours of practice. It is not just practice. It is about deliberate practice. We talk about deliberate mistake. We talk about deliberate mistake means intentionally a person is committing a mistake. Deliberate. So quote unquote deliberate. Now Dr. Anders Ericsson gives certain qualification what this deliberate practice mean. In our future episodes, we are going to discuss what deliberate practice is, which will be taken into account for the purposes of number of hours, which will not be taken into account. In this episode, I'll give only one qualification. Let's say that I'm a cricketer and I want to become world class. Then I need to accept that next 10 years, I want to concentrate on my game. And in that 10 years, I need to practice 10,000 hours. According to the Dr. Ericsson's formula, 10,000 hours does not include work. It is only training. If I watch somebody playing cricket for 4 hours or 10 hours, that will not be accounted in the 10,000 hours. That's something which you need to understand, right? Or I go and play. Let's say that I go and play cricket from morning 10 to evening 5 o'clock. Now that will not be taken into account into this 10,000 in the calculation of 10,000 hours. That means the number of hours I spend in the gym, the number of hours I spend in the net, the number of hours I spend with my coach, the fielding practice, the running practice, and all the skill development exercises the world-class coaches give me, that is taken into account. And not only that, there are other qualifications which will decide whether you have clocked 10,000 hours or not. Maybe in our future episodes, we will discuss what those parameters are. In my next episode, I'm going to talk to you about something which I should have told you long ago. I was talking to you about enhancing personal productivity. I talked about what is our installed capacity and what is our exhibited capacity. I'm going to explain to you what is our installed capacity. You are going to be really amazed. I promise I will try to make a difference in your life. See you in my next episode.